All right, folks, it's, believe it or not, August 21st, regular Rotary Club meeting. And so we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to
to
the
flag
flag
of
of
the United States
America,
America,
and to the republic
which is
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
God,
indivisible,
with
liberty
liberty
and
and
justice
justice
for
for all.
all.
Okay, the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. Is it the
Is it
truth?
the
Is
truth?
it the truth?
Fair
Is
to
it
all
Fair to all concerned?
Will build goodwill and better.
Goodwill and better friendships?
Will it be
benefit
beneficial
all.
To all concerned.
And welcome guests. I know Bill Keith is here that we'll hear from a little later. And some of his the WSDP crew looks like. Terrence Durkin is here. I saw him. We haven't seen him in a while. Win Schrader.
Yeah.
Hey, Win.
Win. Hey, Win.
Hello, Win.
And
Yep. So we've got some folks that are tuning in, and so we appreciate that. And so welcome everybody. And we'll do the invocation. June on her maiden voyage of the invocation.
All right. Join me as we bow our heads. Oh, great Creator, we thank you for this beautiful Friday and another opportunity for fellowship. We ask you to give us strength as we strive each day to live by the Rotary four-way test. We ask you to watch over the older generations, many of whom are no longer with us, but who have set an example for us to live by. We ask you also to support the younger generation, some of whom will be presenting to us today as they embark on their personal journeys of growth. Most of all, we ask for your blessings as together we work for a better tomorrow. Amen.
Amen. Very nice.
Thank you, June.
Thank you, June. And the broadcaster today is Danny. So if you have anything that you want to get in the broadcaster, Danny is your guy. And we have a couple birthdays that we haven't already covered. Bruce Baxter is tomorrow on the 22nd. Billy Ventola is on the 26th. And Craig DiAgostini is on the 27th. And Lou Rich has 48 years this coming week in Rotary. So congratulations to everybody. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Bill Ventola.
And let's see, we've got Rotary Food Drive coming up, barbecue weekend. So there was an email that went out with Sign Up Genius to sign up for a spot. If you didn't get it, let me know, and I'll get that to you if it didn't come through for some reason. And the governor's golf outing, I don't know if Russ is on. That's the 21st of September, and it is in Taylor, I believe. So if you want information, you can get with Russ on that. Anybody else with announcement? Thank you to all those that came out for rat cleaning. That was good. That was last Saturday. So thanks to those of you who came out. Did I miss any announcements? Anybody got anything to add real quick?
John,
Yes, ma'am.
this is Penny. I just have a little update on Art Butler.
Oh, great.
He is getting chemo. They're doing one round of chemo, hoping to get his some numbers down, and that there's this remote possibility he could still have that cell transplant. And then his church has organized taking meals to them, and I'll send the link and I think if any other Rotarians would like to join in on that, we could do that.
Are they just
Excellent.
doing an inspection today?
Thanks, Penny.
Yeah.
All right. And now, the man, the myth, the legend, James Van Horn.
Guess I
Pleasure
should
to get
unmute.
it.
Thanks, President John. Hello, Club. How's everyone?
Good.
Good. Very good. Very good.
Good.
As we meet virtually, we know we're going to keep track of the fines. If you happen to get fined, you will be fined. So keep track of your fines. And you can turn them in when we all meet again, or if you want to send them off to Marie early, feel free to do that. That would be great. I would like to thank Super Sergeant Paul Sincock for that Speedy Sergeant program last week. I mean, it was fast. And I'd also like to thank him for yielding his time to me for my program this week. So now get ready for 35 minutes of fun-filled historical facts about paint and the varying speeds in which it dries. As noted by the American Coatings Association, paint, the group of emulsions generally consisting of pigment suspended in a liquid medium for use as decorative or protective coatings, made its earliest appearance about 30,000 years ago. Are there people leaving?
Hit the hook.
I got all of this about paint. Okay, well, it's much better than me talking about the Tigers. Oh my goodness, the Tigers. It's been a struggle. The front office thinks that there won't be any decline in attendance based on this poor performance. So we've got that going for us. So they have kind of put me in a bad mood. So if there's anyone around, and again, you don't necessarily have to be on this Zoom call to be fined. Anyone that's not a Tiger fan, please pay $1. President John did mention that we had rack cleaning last week. So I would also like to thank all of those that came out for the rack cleaning. My shoulder and back are just starting to feel good again. So that's fine. Also know that there were a few first-time rack cleaning attendees as members, I believe. Mary Lou Stone, Warren Musson, and June Kiercutter. If I'm wrong about that, don't correct me because my ego can't take it. But if you happen to have something else to do last Saturday that kept you from coming to rack cleaning, that's fine. And you will also pay $1 fine, except for paratroopers Jan Eisen and Chuck Bears. Thank you for your duty there at Skydive for Polio. And I'm glad to see you all made it safely. And Jan said it was kind of a snooze, but Chuck seemed to enjoy it. So that's good. And thanks again. And if you do it again, great. I'll support you again. Normally I get to this point, it's the today in history or this week in history. At some point I'm going to need some kind of theme music or something for this. We've got to come up with something. But I know we're talking to those from 88.1 The Park. So I thought I'd start off with a little fact about the first U.S. The first U.S. commercial radio station began daily broadcasting on August 20th, 1920. It was called 8MK then. It is now known as WWJ. So if Tony Briscato is here, I would like him to pay $1 because he's our radio guy. Also, we're celebrating this week the ratification of the 19th Amendment. For those of us who are happy with that, our nation's advancement with that, please pay a happy $1. And as the sergeant, it's kind of my duty to raise money. So I take this opportunity. If there are any chauvinists out there that are still kind of on the fence about women having to vote, pay $2. Just, you don't have to say who you are, just pay the $2. Also, this date in 1959, Hawaii was admitted to the Union. So Ed Schultz is usually on here, and I know there are times that he spends some time in Hawaii, so I'd have him pay $1. And anybody else who's been able to enjoy those wonderful islands, I haven't, so I don't have to worry about this. That'd be $1 as well. This date in 1911, the Mona Lisa was stolen from the Louvre, and it was recovered about 2 years later. Now, for those of you who don't know, we have a work of art, a historical artifact in our club. It's gone by the name of Wand of Wisdom. I believe it's missing right now. And I'm going to find Mike Muma just because I think he should be in charge of it. So Mike Muma will pay $1 for that, and hopefully it won't take 2 years for it to be found. If, you know, anybody
want to confess to having it right now?
I don't think confession's going to happen. You're going to have to do some detective work.
Actually called a staff of knowledge.
We'll just kind of wrap things up. I'll get to some birthdays today. In 1952, Joe Strummer of the band The Clash. I really enjoy The Clash. He was born this date, 1952. I'm going to have punk rock enthusiast C.J. Lang pay $1 for that. Wilt Chamberlain was born 1936, August 21st. Wilt Chamberlain, during his time, actually played a little bit for the Harlem Globetrotters. And at one point in my life, let's just say at the peak of my athletic ability, 8th grade, I played against the Harlem Globetrotters.
What?
Wilt wasn't there, but I was there. So I'm going to pay $1 for that shameless plug. Again, that's that ego coming in. And the last birthday I want to talk about, actually celebrating a birthday today, is Usain Bolt, born this day in 1986, Jamaican sprinter, world records all over the place. Interesting thing, his middle name is St. Leo, which also has a tie-in with our club, with people doing work down at the soup kitchen. Anybody that wants to pay $1 just to boost our efforts there for St. Leo's Soup Kitchen, that'd be great. Usain Bolt ran the 100-meter dash in 9.58 seconds. 9.58 seconds. That is incredibly fast, but still not as fast as Super Sergeant Paul Sincock's sergeant program last week. And with that, I yield the rest of my time.
Thank you, James. Well done. And yes, thank you to our paratroopers. So we will we'll move on. And today we have Bill Keith. Dave Willett, are you doing the introduction?
I think June is.
No, Jane is.
Jane.
June, I'm sorry.
Yep. Okay. June, if you want to go ahead and take it away. And
Sure. I'm delighted to introduce Bill Keith, station manager at 88.1 The Park. As a community, we are very fortunate to have this nationally recognized state-run station broadcasting local news, sports, information, and of course, music. In 2022, the station will be celebrating 50 years of broadcasting. The past 30 of which have been, almost 30, have been anyway, Bill's been there for 30, almost 30 years. During that time, Bill fought off funding cuts from previous school boards, thwarted threats to eliminate the station entirely, and accepted on behalf of the station state and national broadcasting honors multiple times. By all accounts, 88.1 The Park is the best high school radio station in the state, being recognized as such 9 times by the Michigan Association of Broadcasters. It is also one of the best high school stations in the country, landing finalist spots 4 times in a row in the non-commercial category by the National Association of Broadcasters Marconi Awards. That's the radio's version of the Academy Awards. So it really is a big deal. I should add that 88.1 The Park has been the only high school station in that category most of those years, usually competing against college and public radio stations. I was on the station back in the 80s, a few years ahead of Bill, who was also a student at the station. Now I serve as a member of the station's steering committee, seeing firsthand the station's students and how they learn, thrive, and prepare. That has been one of the most rewarding parts of my volunteer activities. We thank Bill and some of the amazing students for joining us today.
Thank you, June. It's a real pleasure to have an opportunity to talk about 88.1. We're fortunate to have June as an advisory member for the station, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to share a little bit about what we're doing. I do have a couple students with me, Ashley Temple and Alyssa Andrews, and I'll give them an opportunity to share a little bit in a moment. We really appreciate the work of Rotary and the example that you set in the community for serving the community. Your international work exemplified by the effort to rid the world of polio, along with the work that you do locally, sets a great example for our students at 88-1 in our efforts to serve the community. And we're proud to partner with Rotary on the chicken barbecue and to promote the other work that you do in the community. We love being at the chicken barbecue each year. Sad that it's not happening this year, but understandably so. We always joke that when we return from chicken barbecue, our tent smells of chicken for months on end. So we'll dig it out like in October, late October, and we'll still have smells of chicken around our office and wherever we're happening to be. I think not only your work in the community, but as we were reciting the four-way test, I was thinking about the fact that, wow, Rotary is a great example for the nation, especially during election times that we're going through right now. It's just the thought of thinking about, is it fair or is it beneficial to all? Those are things that I think we can always reflect on, but especially this time during an election. 88-1 The Park is a student radio station at Canton, Plymouth, and Salem high schools, and this year we're celebrating 48 years of serving Canton and Plymouth. Our mission is to use local radio to invest in the lives of young people and serve the Plymouth-Canton community, and there's a lot of ways we do that. We serve the community through the impact that we have in the lives of students, and you'll see an example of that today as our students speak. We serve the community through unique programming, Plymouth and Canton's hit music, local news, high school sports, local public service announcements, community-based broadcasts, and so many other ways that we try to do some unique things. I recently came across a quote from Dr. Steve Garber. He's a writer on vocation and culture, and I think it really describes 88-1 The Park. He said, "We understand that the deepest lessons are not learned in textbooks, but instead are discovered as learning meets life." Think about that for a moment. I think it really does describe the radio station. Yes, learning does happen in classrooms, and it's going to happen this fall, even as we start out the fall virtually at PCEP, but it's reinforced and strengthened on the basketball court, in the culinary kitchens at Salem, as students build robots for Lightning Robotics, and on the stage at the Gloria Logan Auditorium. And learning happens every day at 88-1 The Park as students get behind the microphone, write a news story, or nervously make a phone call for an interview. And if you've ever received a call from one of our students wanting to do an interview for a news story, especially if it's their first one, you can probably attest to how nervous they might have been. We are also proud of the support that we receive from the community. The station is district funded, and we appreciate all the support that the district gives us. We couldn't do it without being part of the Plymouth-Canton Community Schools, but we are also very much listener supported. And the combination of the school district support, listener support, our alumni support, all come together to make this radio station possible. Our biggest fundraiser each year is our annual auction in May. Kind of think of it as the home shopping network on radio. Last year, we raised over $16,000 through the hard work of our students and the generosity of local businesses. Unfortunately, this year we had to cancel the auction due to COVID-19. I want to take a second, though, and thank Community Financial. They've been the title sponsor for the auction for the last few years. And generously, when we had to cancel the auction this year, I wrote them back and just said, you know, we had to cancel the auction, so if you need us to refund your sponsorship, I totally understand. And they quickly responded and said, you know what, no, keep the money. Keep it as a donation from us for the work that you're doing in the community. Just before the pandemic shut down, it's hard to believe, back last March, we were in Lansing for the Great Lakes Media Show with our students. 17 of our students won 16 of the 30 awards from the Michigan Association of Broadcasters Foundation. That included 6 first-place awards, and our students swept 3 of the categories. They also received the High School Station of the Year Award for the 3rd year in a row and the 9th time overall in the last 20 years. As June mentioned, the station has also been a finalist for the Marconi Radio Awards for Non-Commercial Station of the Year 4 of the last 6 years, actually 4 years in a row. And as a finalist, we were up against college and professional stations. And it was really interesting to be there because our students would be in conversations with pros from all over the country, sometimes all over the world. And they thought it was interesting that students were there and they'd say, oh, well, what brings you here? And they'd say, well, our station is a finalist for the Non-Commercial Station of the Year through the Marconi Awards. And every time it would knock these pros like off their feet. They'd be like, you know, I've been in radio for 20 years or 30 years, and my station has never been a finalist for the Marconi Awards. It really speaks to the hard work and the dedication of our students. I've brought a couple of our students to share how the station has been a vital part of the community during this pandemic shutdown. Ashley Temple is our program director, and Alyssa Andrews is our operations manager. And together they are our top 2 student leaders at the station. So I'm really excited to have them here to share a little bit. And I think we'll start with Ashley and then have Alyssa wrap up with some things.
Hi guys, like Phil introduced me, I'm Ashley, I'm the program director. And I'm gonna share a little bit about our experience through the pandemic. The pandemic shut down our school in mid-March. And from then on, we covered Plymouth Canton community news with students reporting from home. Staff members did this in 2 ways, by recording stories from their home studios and recording stories over the phone with the station manager in the studios. Creativity became essential as students switched from doing all their work from in the station to doing it all from home. While we adjusted to doing radio from our homes, the station managers called and interviewed community members and wrote the stories that we would later read and record. However, as the summer progressed, students took on the role of writing stories from interviews that were conducted by our station managers. We then recorded them at our home studios or on the phone. With this approach, we were able to maintain our daily newscast through the end of July. After our annual break for the month of August, we will resume News File at 5:30 in September.
So, hi, my name is Alyssa, and I'm operations manager for 881 The Park. And I just want to elaborate more on what Ashley has been saying. During the shutdown, we have kept news and shows running, but we've also been involved with community events. Some events that we have been involved with were the virtual Memorial Day Parade. We partnered with the City of Plymouth to make this annual event still happen. This virtual event allowed listeners to tune into 881 The Park during the parade to hear live coverage of the opening ceremony and music throughout the day. The parade was such a success, we decided to have a similar event with the Michigan Philharmonic. We aired their Unessential tribute concert, which allowed friends and supporters of the Michigan Philharmonic to tune into 881 The Park to hear the concert live from the comfort of their homes. It was very exciting to deliver these events to our community, especially for people who normally love going and supporting these concerts live, but couldn't this year because of the pandemic. One last event I want to talk about real quick is probably the biggest event we had during the shutdown. This year, we partnered with the SJ 5K as a title sponsor of the run this year. Instead of having their normal run around the high schools, they were able to host the run virtually and had the opening ceremony air on 881 The Park. We also aired preview shows in the weeks leading up to the run that featured interviews with the families that were benefiting from the run. Overall, they had 2,500 runners and were able to raise $130,000 through the support of our community, which is absolutely amazing.
Thank you very much, Ashley and Alyssa. And it is amazing. We also, one of the things that we've been really proud of is we've been able to partner with the Downtown Development Authority in Plymouth in broadcasting a couple of the summer concerts on Friday nights in Kellogg Park. Well, they haven't been in Kellogg Park. They've actually been in the Penn Theater for an empty Penn Theater, but able to be heard on the social media channels of the Downtown Development Authority as well as on 881 The Park. And it's been great to see that as a way that we could continue to partner with airing those concerts, because normally we're there on a number of weeks during the summer, but this pandemic has really, I think, forced people to look for ways to be creative. We're already looking forward to the fall. We're not sure with the school starting virtually if we'll have students back in the studio in September. We're still trying to work out the logistics of that. We might be still doing it remotely. We're also talking with the theater department at the high school. They want to possibly explore some radio theater, radio dramas, because they may not be able to do actual on-stage shows as a way of still providing their students with opportunities to act. And who knows what the future holds. I mean, even if they may eventually be able to mount these as a stage show, but it would still be exciting to see this as a way of the station being able to support them and still air the productions, and the students involved being able to experience what it was like to put together an old-time radio show, creating the sound effects live. So we're really excited about that. Just one last thing to wrap up. Bill Milliken is the founder and vice chairman of Communities in Schools. And I know I say that name, Bill Milliken, and everybody thinks of the former governor of Michigan. And at first I thought, oh, same person? No, a different person. He said, and I love this quote, "It's relationships, not programs, that change children. A great program simply creates the environment for healthy relationships to form between adults and children. Young people thrive when adults care about them on a one-to-one level, and when they also have a sense of belonging to a caring community." And I think that's so true of 88.1. We talk about how the station and all the school programs like Lightning Robotics or the theater or culinary have a way of providing a community for kids in a campus that has over 6,500 students. I mean, it's amazing how 3 schools, 6,500 students, you can imagine how a student could easily get lost in that. But because of all the structure of student groups like 88.1, we're able to provide a community for students in a place where they can connect and grow and learn and prepare and thrive, as June had said earlier. I've been the station manager. I've seen that make a difference in the lives of students during my 25 years at the station as the station manager, but I've also seen it in my own life when I was a student, and now again back when I'm station manager. So it's been exciting to serve at 88.1. We're excited to partner with the Rotary and all the other community groups that make Plymouth and Canton a really vibrant and vital community. And we'd be glad to answer any questions. So if you have any questions for me, or if you want to direct some questions to either of the students, we'd be glad to answer any questions.
I have a question, Bill.
Okay.
A number of our Rotarians may winter out of state. I think some of them are even summering in the northern part of our state. So we're not always within the broadcast signal of the station. Are there other ways that we can catch that newscast at 5:30?
Yes, we have a couple different ways. One, you can listen online at our website, 881thepark.com, and there's right on the homepage, there's a listen live link that you can click on. You can also download our phone app for the radio station. It's free through the Apple and the Google stores, and feel free to download it, and right when you open it up, it has the radio station playing. And then if you want to follow our news too, we just started doing something earlier during the pandemic. We started loading our stories onto our website. So if you go to 881thepark.com and look at the links near the top of the page, there's one that says news. And if you click on that, you'll see a scroll down of the news stories that we've been covering for the last several months. And we're planning to keep updating that so that folks, if they miss our newscast, can easily hit our website. We're finding that the radio station has the potential, or is a real vital news source in the community, especially with changes in the local newspaper media scene. There's not a lot of places that cover Plymouth and Canton as well as these students do. And we're always glad to have people kind of keep tabs on the work that they're doing.
Hey, Bill, I have a question for you. And I thank you for always being such a great supporter of all the things that I've been involved in downtown Plymouth. I appreciate that. But you mentioned that you guys had to cancel your fundraiser this year. And Community Financial was nice enough to continue their support. But was there a significant financial loss because the rest of the stuff didn't come in, or are you guys going to be okay?
Yeah, we have in the last few years, we've been able to raise anywhere from $16,000 to $19,000 a year. Fortunately, because of the success of the auction, we have a pretty good chunk of money tucked away in our savings, so we're able to weather this year. But I would say, I guess it's true that there was, and we probably lost at least $15,000 by not doing the auction. And we're waiting to see, we have our pledge drive coming up in November. We're waiting to see how that's going to work out. If we're able to have students back in the studio by then, or if we come up with a way to do it virtually, socially distanced. But we're always open to financial support. Our alums have been very generous. We had a number of our alums that normally match half hours of the auction sent in donations in late May and early June when they realized that, hey, the auction isn't going to happen. And we looked at different scenarios to still do it, maybe do it later in the summer, thinking, okay, well, if things get back to normal in the summer, maybe we could do it. And then we realized through talking to our students and doing some research that this is just not the year for us to, even though we had a number of items already donated, it's not the year for us to go out to businesses in the community with our hat in hand asking for donations when so many of them are struggling just to continue to survive. So we quickly made the decision, you know what, we're gonna take a break this year from the auction and not have to ask for support from a community that has been incredibly generous to us as it is.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
How many students does the radio station touch in a year?
That's a good question. We last year we had about 36 or 37 on our staff. We just graduated, well, maybe we had 38 because we just graduated 17 seniors. We just had our annual banquet a week ago out at Fox Hills. We were able to do it outdoors in their summer house pavilion, and their staff was amazing. And by doing it outdoors, we were able to still have it and really celebrate those 17 seniors. But then we also have another 30 kids that are part of the fundamentals of radio class that end up using our studios too in a given year. And then quite a few that that get touched by the radio station through our sports broadcasts, whether we're doing interviews with the athletes or having their games on the air, or if we're able to support other groups like the SJ 5K, it kind of expands out from there. So the core group of our students this past year was 38. And then we had another 30 that were in the radio class, and then it kind of expands from there.
Okay, thank you.
So, Bill, we've had a couple. If you could just quickly kind of walk through from freshman to senior, how does the student's experience change? You know, how do they start, and then, you know, what kind of things are they doing when they're an upperclassman as part of the radio station program?
Good question. And Alyssa, I know Alyssa, I think you joined as a freshman, and Ashley, did you join as a freshman or a sophomore?
I joined as a sophomore.
Oh, you joined as a sophomore. Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Ashley?
Sophomore too.
Okay. Well, if either of you want to share a little bit about how your experience started with the station and how it's changed as you've taken on more responsibility, and then I can kind of fill in any gaps that I think might be there.
Okay. So I first heard about this station is my sister was on the station, and that's kind of why I wasn't allowed my freshman year, because she's like, no, this is my thing. You're not allowed on it. And so I joined my sophomore year. And from then I was like, all right, I gotta kind of bring back that freshman year that I never had. So I started quickly, like becoming a director and doing more things than a normal like sophomore or freshman would. For the first year of sophomore year, I was doing normal things like doing news, having a show. And then I decided for my junior year that I was going to become social media director and have my own specialty show. And then for my senior year, I'm now operations manager and have my own show. But it's like, I mean, for me, my experience is a little different, and everyone's experience is really different on the station. Some people decide, you know, I just want to do news, or I just like doing shows, and that's pretty much like what I'm going to do. And they don't want to do like go as a director or a manager or anything, or have a specialty show. But I mean, I'm a little different, is I decided to kind of jump the shark and do all these things at the same time. So my experience is a little different than what a normal staff member would go through.
Do you want to add anything, Ashley?
I think that, yeah, as a sophomore, I had just transferred to the park. And when you go into the radio station, you go through like FCC classes, and then you start to gain responsibility as you have news days and a show every week. And then on top of that, you can take on things like specialty shows like Alyssa does, and then directorships, which both Alyssa and I, and we have many other leadership positions in the station.
Yeah, we try to find a way to really create opportunities for all levels of student involvement. It's pretty intense when they first get on, pretty big commitment with kind of the onboarding of FCC classes and all the training that we're doing. But we do get some students who, they just want to have a minimal level. They want to come in a couple times a month to do news, and maybe they want to come in to do a show. And then we get students who, they jump, like Ashley and Alyssa, jump both feet in, jump in the deep end and want to take on extra responsibilities. And I think we get to really see an opportunity for students at all levels of involvement to really grow. We have students that when they first join are very talented writers, but I have to say writing a news story really forces you to write in a very focused and succinct manner. I think it has a lot of value for your future writing in English classes or anything else, because it really makes you boil down what you're going to say to the most important points. And it's always exciting to see students that when they first get on, their writing needs tons of editing work from our assistant station manager, John. He'll pour over it with them, trying to find ways to improve it. And then by their senior year, if they've really been working at it, they can sometimes even write a story where he'll look at it and he'll go, I don't need to make a single change, or I only need to make a real minimal change, and this change is only because it's a preference change rather than something that had to be changed. So it's exciting to see.
Excellent. Are there any other questions? Go to the second screen. Okay. Well, thank you, Ashley and Alyssa and Bill for being here today. It was a great program, and we put in the chat, we put the 88.1 The Park, or 88.1 The Park is the web address, and I'm sure there's all the links you can find to donate or get involved or other things. I know there's a few alumni from the station in the club. There's one in the building here with me at City Hall that I know of, and Cam Miller was here earlier, and he's an alumni also. So, and I have to say, with young kids, I can listen to 88.1 with my kids, and not have to worry about hearing anything that isn't family friendly. So I listen to it most of the time for the half a song I get to listen to on my way into and home from work. But it's a great station, so we appreciate you guys being here, and good luck with the new adventure that's coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, before we wrap up, it's that time in the meeting where we are going to, oops. Everybody see that? All right.
I can.
Who's going to win Penny's lunch money today?
Whoa.
James or Penny? Last time was Kurt Cohen. Who's today's winner?
James, can you tell me that?
Pick a number between 1 and 30.
3.
You're muted.
Bill Keith.
Hey, Bill Keith. All right, your lucky prize is a gift card to any place in Plymouth Township, any business, and I will get that in the mail to you.
Well, fantastic.
Are you getting your mail at the school?
Yes.
Okay, I'll send it in her office.
Fantastic.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you, Penny.
Yeah.
And last week, the guest MC had a good idea to put a positive quote at the end of the meeting. And I heard another Rotarian from our club say this a couple weeks ago, and it stuck with me. And when I was looking for a quote, this kind of jumped out. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in service of others. So with that, if you're on the club board, you have to go to the principal's office after the meeting, and we'll have a quick board meeting. If not, you are free to leave.